Building on the dark stories behind Fame, this script reveals how 15 well-known actors faced devastating consequences after their battles with drugs. While their talent and fame brought them recognition and admiration, many also grappled with inner struggles that many never saw. These actors, who once shone brightly on screen, fell victim to addiction, which slowly tore their lives apart or ended them prematurely. Their stories show how difficult it was to escape the grip of substance abuse, despite their success. Some tried to hide their pain behind a mask of happiness, but the substances eventually overwhelmed them. Friends and family members often pleaded for help, but the powerful hold of drugs made recovery seem impossible for many. Their careers paused or ended, and their lives changed forever, often in tragic ways. These stories serve as a reminder of the hidden darkness many face behind the spotlight. As we look into these heartbreaking tales, we see not only their fall, but also the ongoing struggle many celebrities face with addiction. This exploration aims to shed light on the fragile balance between fame and personal pain. Brad Renfro was a talented young actor whose early work showed great promise. When he was only 10 years old, his performance in the film The Client caught the attention of many, suggesting he had a bright future in Hollywood. The director Joel Schumacher discovered Renfro and admired his natural talent, intensity, and the strong presence he carried on screen. People believed he was destined to become a star because of his ability to bring deep emotion to his roles. Despite this promising start, Renfro's personal life was filled with struggles. He experienced a lot of dysfunction at home and was exposed to drugs at a very young age. His own mother introduced him to marijuana when he was just 9 years old, which is very early for anyone to start experimenting. By the time he was 12, he had reportedly tried heroin, showing how quickly his problems grew. These issues affected his school life as well, and he was expelled after setting a fire, which was a sign of the problems he was facing. His behavior worsened over time, but he still managed to give amazing performances in movies like Sleepers, Apt Pupil, and Bully. These roles often showed the pain and turmoil he was experiencing inside, bringing authenticity to his acting. Sadly, Renfro's addiction became a huge obstacle. He was arrested several times and entered rehab multiple times trying to get clean. Sometimes he stayed sober for a short while, but he always fell back into addiction. Despite these efforts, his struggles remained. In 2008, at only 25 years old, Brad Renfro was found dead in his Los Angeles apartment. The cause of death was never officially confirmed, but it was widely believed to be a heroin overdose. His death is a tragic reminder of how early exposure to drugs and the pressures of fame can destroy young lives. His story highlights the dangers faced by many child stars who are exposed too soon to the harsh realities of the entertainment industry and substance abuse. Despite his young age, River Phoenix was more than just a talented actor. He was a symbol of artistic purity and youthful passion. Known for his thoughtful nature and deep empathy, he expressed these qualities both on and off the screen. His early life was filled with instability, as he grew up in a family that faced financial struggles and kept moving from place to place. His family had once been part of the controversial religious group called the Children of God, which influenced his upbringing and worldview. Despite these hardships, River developed a strong sense of morality and a desire to promote activism and humanitarian causes from a young age. His breakthrough came with a memorable performance in the film Stand By Me, where his ability to portray innocence and depth impressed many. He went on to deliver powerful performances in movies like Running on Empty and My Own Private Idaho, showing his incredible range as an actor. Phoenix was also a dedicated vegan, caring deeply about animal rights and the environment. He was a talented musician as well, often using his voice for social causes. Many believed he was destined to become one of the greatest actors of his generation. Unfortunately, fame also exposed him to the darker side of Hollywood. The pressures of early stardom and a complicated environment led him to get involved with drugs. His drug use ultimately became his tragic downfall. On October 31, 1993, outside the Viper Room nightclub in Los Angeles, River Phoenix collapsed on the sidewalk and died soon after from a lethal mixture of heroin and cocaine. He was only 23 years old, and his sudden death shocked everyone. Hollywood and fans worldwide mourned the loss of a young man full of promise. His legacy continues to inspire many as a reminder of his talent, integrity, and the tragic costs of fame. Despite his success, Michael K. Williams' journey was filled with immense struggles that shaped his life both on and off the screen. He mesmerized audiences with his powerful performance as Omar Little on HBO's The Wire, a role that showed his incredible ability to portray complex characters with emotional intensity and authenticity. Many viewers admired him for bringing Omar to life with such depth, but few knew that the darkness reflected his own inner pain. As a child, William was molested, an event that left deep emotional scars that haunted him for years. These painful memories drove him toward substances as a teenager, and by the time he was 19, he was already struggling with drug abuse. To escape his emotional turmoil, he sought refuge in New York City's vibrant nightlife, but that led him into a world of crime, including fraud and theft, as he tried to find stability. The scar visible on his face from a brutal mugging became a part of his identity, symbolizing both his past and his resilience. Despite his Hollywood fame, Williams fought ongoing battles with addiction, openly admitting that playing Omar pushed him dangerously close to falling back into his darker demons. He made sincere efforts to recover, often speaking about his desire to stay away from negative influences and seeking help from spiritual leaders and recovery groups. Sadly, these efforts were not enough, and he ultimately succumbed to a fentanyl-laced heroin overdose in 2021, found dead in his Brooklyn apartment. The dealer responsible for his death was sentenced to 10 years in prison, a small measure of justice for a talented actor whose life was cut short by the grip of addiction. Despite her bright start in the entertainment industry, Brittany Murphy faced many challenges behind the scenes. She first gained fame as a teenager on television before moving to movies, where she showed her wide range of talents. Audiences loved her lively performances in movies like Clueless, where she played the quirky Ty, and in more serious roles such as Girl, Interrupted. She also starred in 8 Mile, demonstrating her ability to take on different kinds of characters. Although she was successful, she struggled with constant pressure from Hollywood to look perfect and to choose the right career path. Rumors spread about her health, suggesting she had eating disorders or plastic surgery, but she remained focused on her craft. Many wondered about her marriage to Simon Monjack, who was often viewed as controversial and possibly influencing her choices. In 2009, her life suddenly ended when Murphy collapsed in her home in Hollywood Hills. The autopsy showed she died from pneumonia, anemia, and the effects of prescription drugs. However, questions about whether foul play was involved stayed in the minds of many. Only 5 months after her death, Monjack also died in the same house from similar issues. There were reports of mold in her home and concerns about her management and well-being, which added to the mystery of her passing. Fans and friends still wonder what truly caused her death. Murphy was seen as a talented actress with much potential, yet her life was cut short too soon, leaving many with unanswered questions about her struggles and the circumstances surrounding her death. The story of Brittany Murphy remains one of Hollywood's most tragic and perplexing tales. Despite his relatively brief life, Heath Ledger made a huge impact on the world of entertainment with his remarkable talent and dedication to his craft. Starting his career in Australian television, he quickly gained attention and then moved to Hollywood, where he starred in popular movies like 10 Things I Hate About You and A Knight's Tale. These movies showed his charm and versatility as an actor. Later, he took on more serious and emotionally demanding roles, such as his performance in Brokeback Mountain, which earned him an Academy Award nomination. His ability to deeply understand and portray complex characters made him stand out among his peers. However, it was his role as the Joker in The Dark Knight that truly showcased his talent. His portrayal of the iconic villain was haunting and unforgettable, earning him widespread praise and an Oscar award after his death. Off-camera, Ledger was known for his intense dedication to his roles. He would often immerse himself fully into his characters, which sometimes affected his health. He reportedly suffered from chronic insomnia and used prescription medications to help him sleep and manage anxiety. Friends and family noticed he was becoming increasingly exhausted both physically and emotionally before his death. On January 22, 2008, Ledger was found dead in his New York apartment at the age of 28. The official cause of death was an accidental overdose of 6 prescription drugs, including painkillers, sedatives, and anti-anxiety medications. His death shocked fans and colleagues worldwide, leaving a deep sadness and a sense of loss within the film industry. Despite his premature death, Ledger's talent and memorable performances, especially his role as the Joker, continue to be celebrated today. His legacy as an actor remains indelible, inspiring future generations and reminding the world of his extraordinary ability to bring characters vividly to life. Despite her early success and popularity, Amanda Bynes faces a difficult path that has been marked by struggles and challenges. She gained fame as one of the most loved child actors of the late 1990s and early 2000s, earning admiration for her humor and charm on television shows like Nickelodeon's All That and The Amanda Show. Many people enjoyed her performances and thought she had a bright future in entertainment. Later, she starred in movies such as What a Girl Wants and She's the Man, which showed her acting range and comedic talent. However, at the age of 24, she announced she was leaving acting, though she later changed her story about this decision. Her life took a turbulent turn when she was arrested in 2012 for driving under the influence and faced hit and run charges. The following year, she was involved in a fire incident where she set fire to a stranger's driveway. These events led to her being hospitalized for mental health treatment. Her parents received a conservatorship over her life, which lasted nearly 10 years. During this time, Amanda admitted to using drugs like marijuana, cocaine, and ecstasy, and she developed serious mental health issues. Her public behavior became unpredictable, with erratic tweets, physical changes, and claims of hallucinations getting attention from tabloids. In 2023, she was again found in a worrying situation when she was discovered wandering the streets of Los Angeles without clothes, leading to another mental health hold. Despite efforts to help her, and moments of apparent recovery, Amanda Bynes continues to deal with the long-lasting effects of drug abuse and mental illness, a tragic reminder of a fallen star. Since her debut, Judy Garland's voice has remained one of the most iconic in Hollywood history. Her performances in classic films like The Wizard of Oz made her a beloved figure, especially her role as Dorothy, where her singing and acting combined to create a timeless image that touched millions of hearts. However, behind her radiant stage presence, Garland's life was painfully difficult. From a young age, the powerful movie studio MGM took control of her life, monitoring everything from her appearance to her performances. They gave her drugs to control her weight, such as amphetamines, which suppressed her appetite, and barbiturates to help her sleep. This early drug use led to a lifelong dependency that affected her health and mental well-being. Despite these hardships, Garland's talent shined through as she grew older. She earned critical praise for movies like A Star is Born and Meet Me in St. Louis, captivating audiences worldwide with her singing and acting skills. Off the stage, her life was filled with personal struggles. She had 5 marriages that ended in failure and dealt with financial problems and emotional pain. She often suffered from depression and exhaustion, partly due to the pressure of maintaining her career and the constant demand for perfection. Her life was a roller coaster of achievements and suffering, revealing a deep conflict between her incredible talent and her personal pain. Tragically, in 1969, Garland was found dead from an accidental overdose of barbiturates in her London home at age 47. Her death shocked many and became a symbol of the dark side of Hollywood, highlighting how fame and success can sometimes come at a great personal cost. Her voice and story continue to remind audiences of both her artistry and her suffering. Following her rise from humble beginnings in Texas, Anna Nicole Smith quickly became a household name after being named Playboy's Playmate of the Year in 1993. Her striking beauty and magnetic personality captured the attention of the public and media alike, turning her into a cultural phenomenon. She expanded her career into acting and modeling, but her personal life took center stage when she married the much older billionaire J. Howard Marshall, who was 89 years old. This marriage drew intense media scrutiny and legal battles over his estate that lasted over 10 years, putting her in the spotlight in both positive and negative ways. As her fame grew, she faced increasing personal struggles, especially with her dependence on prescription drugs. She used them to cope with chronic pain, anxiety, and the stress of her fame. Her public appearances became more unpredictable, and she frequently appeared in tabloids for her erratic behavior. In 2006, tragedy struck when her 20-year-old son, Daniel, died from an accidental drug overdose while visiting her in the hospital shortly after she had given birth to her daughter. Less than 5 months later, Anna Nicole was found unresponsive in a Florida hotel room. An autopsy later revealed her death was caused by an accidental overdose of prescription medications, including sleeping pills and anti-anxiety drugs. She was only 39 years old. Her life encapsulates the themes of beauty, fame, legal battles, and tragic loss, serving as a powerful example of how fame and drug addiction can intersect dangerously. Elvis Presley, often called the King of Rock and Roll, changed American music and pop culture forever. His style was a new mix of country, gospel, and blues, which made his sound special and different from others. In the 1950s and 1960s, he became famous all over the world. Elvis was known for not only his voice that could make people feel deep emotions, but also for his energetic stage presence. His dance moves were bold and often provocative, which made him stand out and helped define a new way of performing that attracted young fans and upset older generations. He looked confident and charming, and many people loved him for his rebellious spirit. Despite his success, Elvis faced many problems behind the scenes. He felt the pressure of being a star and was physically tired from constant touring and recording. During his military service in the late 1950s, he began using amphetamines to stay awake and sedatives to sleep, developing a dependency on prescription drugs as the years went by. His health started to show signs of decline in the 1970s as he gained weight and struggled with feelings of depression and pain. His addiction to pills worsened his physical condition, making everyday activities difficult. Lieutenant, on August 16, 1977, Elvis was discovered in his Graceland home, unresponsive in the bathroom. The official cause of death was a heart attack, but it was widely understood that long-term drug abuse had damaged his body. He was only 42 years old when he died. Elvis' death was a huge loss for fans and for the world, marking the end of an era. His life story became a reminder of how fame and pressure can take a heavy toll on even the greatest stars. Listening to the soundtrack associated with Marilyn Monroe often brings out a mixture of emotions, reflecting both her charming persona and her troubled life. The music featured in her films like Gentlemen Prefer Blondes, Some Like It Hot, and The 7-Year Itch captures her magnetic screen presence and helps define her timeless appeal. These soundtracks are filled with lively, jazz-influenced tunes that complement her playful and glamorous character, making her performances unforgettable. At the same time, the music hints at the vulnerability behind her cheerful image. The songs and scores reflect the complexity of Monroe's personality, combining lightheartedness with an underlying sense of longing and sadness. Her movies often use music to highlight her charm, but they also remind us of her struggles off-screen. Monroe's life was filled with personal pain stemming from early abandonment, trauma, and constant pressures to look perfect in the public eye. Her soundtrack choices serve as a window into her emotional world, from upbeat dance numbers to more somber melodies that echo her inner battles. Despite her appearance of confidence and happiness on stage and screen, Monroe faced a continuous fight with mental health issues, reliance on prescription drugs, and difficult relationships. Her marriages to Joe DiMaggio and Arthur Miller brought moments of happiness but also heartache, often reflected in the emotional tone of the music connected to her story. The soundtrack of Marilyn Monroe's films continues to remind us of her talent and the tragic toll fame took on her. It preserves her legacy as a glamorous icon whose life was as complex and layered as the music that accompanies her films. The deeper understanding of her musical scores reveals not only her star quality, but also the silent pain she endured behind her magnetic smile, illustrating how her music remains a powerful testament to her enduring impact on both Hollywood and popular culture. Robin Williams was a rare kind of genius, capable of making people laugh uncontrollably and touching their hearts with deep emotion in the same moment. His performances in movies like Aladdin and Mistress Doubtfire showed his talent for wild improvisations that made audiences laugh and feel connected. At the same time, he won an Oscar for his role in Good Will Hunting, revealing his ability to express serious emotion and insight. Off-screen, however, Williams was a complex man who often hid his pain behind humor. Despite his cheerful exterior, he struggled with addiction that started in the late 1970s and early 1980s when he used cocaine and drank alcohol. He achieved sobriety after losing a close friend, John Belushi, but later relapsed and went into rehab several times. His battle with depression was not always visible, even though there were signs of emotional distress and substance problems. In 2014, he was diagnosed with Lewy body dementia, a serious brain disorder that causes hallucinations, memory loss, and mood swings, but by then it was too late to stop his suffering. On August 11, 2014, Robin Williams took his own life at the age of 63. The world mourned him not just as a comedian, but as someone who used his talent to bring joy, while secretly fighting intense inner pain. He remains a symbol of brilliance and vulnerability, a reminder that even those who seem happy on the outside can be suffering inside. Matthew Perry brought laughter to millions through his portrayal of Chandler Bing on the wildly successful sitcom Friends. With his impeccable timing and self-deprecating humor, he became one of the most beloved TV characters of the 1990s. Yet behind the scenes, Perry was fighting a relentless and private war against addiction. His descent began after a jet ski accident in 1997 when he was prescribed Vicodin. What started as pain management turned into a severe addiction to opioids, followed by struggles with alcohol, benzodiazepines, and other substances. During the peak of Friends, Perry would sometimes arrive on set hungover or under the influence, even appearing visibly frail during certain seasons. He went to rehab numerous times and underwent several surgeries due to complications from drug use, including a near-death experience involving a ruptured colon. Despite these battles, he continued to work, speak candidly about his addiction, and even founded a sober living facility for others in recovery. In his 2022 memoir Friends, Lovers, and the Big Terrible Thing, he opened up about the full extent of his struggles, hoping to help others feel less alone. Tragically, on October 28, 2022, Matthew Perry was found dead at his Los Angeles home at the age of 52. His sudden passing left fans and friends grieving the loss of a man who made the world laugh, even while quietly battling his own demons. While many fans remember Cory Monteith today for his warm smile and memorable role as Finn Hudson on Glee, few know the full story behind his success and struggles. Born in Calgary, he faced family disruptions early in life when his parents divorced, which set him on a difficult path. By the time he turned 13, he was already involved in heavy drug use and alcohol, often seeking solace in substances to cope with his family issues. His choices worsened, leading him to drop out of school at 16 and face multiple arrests for petty crimes. During this tumultuous period, Cory experienced homelessness and moved from job to job, feeling lost and without direction until he discovered acting. Acting gave him a new sense of purpose, allowing him to express himself and find belonging in the performing arts. His big break came with Glee, where he portrayed Finn Hudson, a character beloved by fans worldwide. His cheerful on-screen persona contrasted sharply with his real-life struggles with addiction. Despite making efforts to stay clean, such as voluntarily entering rehab in early 2013, the temptation proved too strong. Tragically, on July 13, 2013, Cory Monteith was found dead in a Vancouver hotel room from a lethal combination of heroin and alcohol. He was only 31 years old, and his sudden death shocked the entertainment world and fans alike. It served as a painful reminder that addiction can affect anyone, regardless of fame or success. His story remains a powerful example of the complexity of human struggles and the importance of awareness and support. Although Drew Barrymore comes from a famous acting family, her life has been full of both great achievements and serious struggles. She became known worldwide at a very young age, thanks to her charming role in Steven Spielberg's film E.T. the Extraterrestrial when she was only 7 years old. However, her early fame was not easy because her childhood was troubled. Her mother exposed her to the adult world of parties, drugs, and alcohol long before she was a teenager. Drew was smoking cigarettes by 9, drinking alcohol by 11, and using marijuana and cocaine by 12. Her young age made these experiences very dangerous and damaging. When she was 13, she attempted suicide and was placed in a hospital. Soon after, she entered rehab to try to overcome her problems. Many people doubted she could recover from such struggles, but Drew was determined to change her life. She gained strength from friends and mentors who believed in her. At 14, she made the brave decision to leave her parents and take control of her future. Over time, she worked hard to rebuild her career and her happiness. During the 1990s and 2000s, she starred in popular films like The Wedding Singer, Never Been Kissed, and Charlie's Angels, which helped her re-establish herself as a talented actress. Beyond movies, Drew started her own production company, became a well-known talk show host, and built a successful business. Today, she is admired not only for her acting, but also for her courage and resilience. Drew openly talks about her difficult past to inspire others and remind them that hope and strength can be found even in the darkest moments. As we finish this look into the lives of these 15 actors, it becomes clear how fragile fame really is. Despite their talent and popularity, many of them struggled secretly with addiction. Their stories remind us that no matter how famous someone may seem, they can be fighting battles that no one sees. The grip of drugs can destroy lives slowly, even for those who seem to have everything. Some actors tried to hide their pain, but the substances took over. Their careers suffered, and some lost their lives or faced lifelong struggles that changed everything for them. These stories highlight the importance of compassion and understanding for those facing addiction, especially in a world that often only sees the bright side. They also remind us to be aware that success does not guarantee happiness or a trouble-free life. As we reflect on their journeys, we recognize the power of addiction and the need for support and help. Their lives serve as a caution and an inspiration to look beyond appearances and understand the complexities of personal pain. The hope is that sharing these stories can encourage others to seek help before it's too